Welcome to episode 5 of the Espresso Essentials series. This series is all about steaming milk and how to steam proper milk in order to make things like latte art. I'll do my best at latte art, but I'm not the best at making latte art, so this is just a quick guide to help understand how to steam milk. So before we do that, I want to go over a few things that you need in order to do this. First, I'd recommend checking out the rest of the videos in the series. This is the final one, but I go over the equipment that you need to brew espresso, which is essential for making and steaming milk for latte. It'll also go with how to prep a puck and how to dial in your coffee and how to troubleshoot your coffee as well in order to produce the best results. All 4 of those videos are essential into getting into the 5th one of steaming milk. So here's a few things that you need outside of the given of an espresso machine, beans, a grinder, and a scale in order to get you this far. As you will need a cleaning cloth of some kind of towel, or I have this espresso specific towel meant for kind of cleaning off steam wands and using it on a espresso bar. The next thing is you're going to need a vessel, and I recommend a vessel with a slope inside. The slope inside allows the milk to move more freely, and it allows you to do a little bit better job of getting the milk to contrast in the cup. The next thing you will need is a pitcher. Many machines come with a pitcher. This one is an aftermarket one, but you are going to need a pitcher and you're going to need to fill it up with milk, and I recommend starting with whole milk. It's a little bit easier to steam. You're going to fill it up all the way to the notch in the pitcher, right to the bottom of the notch, and that should be enough to help you start your journey there. And fill it with milk, of course. So I already got my machine set up, and it's already, all the coffee is dialed in and ready to go. So I'm going to pull a quick shot into this cup here, and we are going to go ahead and pull that shot and see what that looks like. And we're right on the target here. This should be a good shot, and a good shot of espresso is great to foundation of a latte. Without it being dialed in well, your latte is not going to taste on par to what it could be. If you're adding a lot of sugar, creamer, things like that on the inside of it, making a mocha or something with caramel, something along the lines of that, it's not as critical that you dial in your shot, but I still recommend it. It's great for learning down the road, things like that. So I'm going to go ahead and move that scale. And we have this nice shot of espresso, and I almost just poured it all over the ground in front of me, but that is okay. I didn't. All right, so we have that. The next thing we're going to need to do is we're going to need to purge the steam wand. You purge the steam wand, and you want the water to kind of start spraying consistently in there. Before we actually steam milk, I want to say a quick thank you to today's sponsor. Today's sponsor for the entire Espresso Essentials series is no other than Espresso Outlet. They have a lot of different machines, a lot of different gear to help you brew espresso to the best of your ability at home. It's a place where you can go and know that anything that you buy there is going to set you up well, where you get to learn and you don't have to worry about your gear not being on par enough to make good quality stuff. I would recommend most machines and most grinders there. I haven't tried them all, that's why I say most, but they have done a very good job at customer service, things like that. So please check them out if you're looking at purchasing things. They have great deals on grinders. This is one of my favorite ones on the market. It runs in at about $270 and compares with $750 grinders down the road that I've also tried. So we're going to go ahead and steam some milk here, and like I said, we're going to purge the water out just like that. And we are going to take our steam wand, shut it off, and we're going to put it in the cup. And we are going to want to get it right on the edge there. And then we are going to simply put it kind of toward the angle. See how it's like right there on the side rather than in the center. This allows a vortex to be made. And we're going to introduce a little bit of air as we go in there. You can hear the hissing noise of the air, hopefully. And then after a little bit of time, we are going to maybe let in a little bit more air, and the goal is to make it look like wet paint. Once you kind of get that, you're going to want to slowly push the wand into the cup. So I kind of released an increased amount of air that I'd want in there, and we're going to push it in there more, and we're going to just simply keep touching the cup, the pitcher, until it gets too hot to hold for about 2 seconds. That's going to get us in about the right temperature that we want it in for a nice temperature of a latte. All right, we have that done there. And if you pull that out, The next step we do before we even touch the milk is you need to get a wet rag, and you are going to need to clean off that excess milk on the steam wand. A clean machine is a happy machine. So you're going to want to clean that off and purge out the milk. So if you look in this, it's got nice, silky smooth milk, and all the bubbles are removed. And we are going to simply take it and we are going to put it into this cup. You're going to want to tilt the cup slightly. And I like to dispense a little bit of the milk before to make it nice and easy. Make sure it's all mixed together well. There's no bubbles in there. And you are going to want to pour slightly while you're tilting, and you're going to want to pour slightly higher up, and that'll let the milk to sink to the bottom. Once you get a little closer, you're going to tilt it more, and then you're going to want the milk as close to the coffee as possible, and you're going to kind of push it in. And you're going to see that contrast nicely. And there's some latte art there. It's not great, but more or less you have it ready to go. And the milk was steamed well enough for latte, but personally I wasn't good enough for the latte. And then you're going to simply clean your pitcher, probably in your sink. This is a pitcher rinser, so I have that convenience of having it on my bar like so. I'm just going to leave that there. Now to troubleshoot your milk. But before we do that, I just want to say, if you made it this far in the video and made it this far in the series, I recommend please liking and subscribing. That really helps me produce more content and get more sponsorships where I'm able to focus more on certain things like this. If you have any questions, let them know in the comments below. So there's a couple things. If your milk is too foamy, meaning that it just feels like a big pile of foam pouring out, you need to introduce less air while steaming. So when you notice in there, I was allowing the steam wand to kind of sit on the surface of the milk, allowing air to kind of come through as it was rotating in a circle, mixing the air with the milk, steaming it to the right consistency, aiming toward wet paint. If you allow too much air, it becomes too foamy while you're steaming. If the milk is too thin and it's like seems super watery while it's coming out, seems, I don't know, like milk, then you need to introduce more air while steaming. So if your milk is too foamy, you need to introduce less air and it'll make it less foamy. And if it's too thin, you need to introduce more air while steaming. And that'll kind of help you get in the right spot. I hope that kind of helps. You need to aim for 2 fingers, holding a couple fingers up to it, and you need to aim for the temperature to be to the point where it's getting too hot to hold fingers on there for more than 2 seconds. And that's how you know when the temperature is correct. Steaming milk takes a lot of time. Don't get discouraged with it. It takes a lot of practice to be able to get consistent milk that you can pour latte art with, and you get the consistent texture that you're looking for, especially when you're comparing yourself to a cafe. When I go to my local cafe, I know people who have made coffee and been drinking coffee less than I have and for a shorter amount of years than I have, but they're producing way better latte art and way better steaming milk than I ever could. And the reason for that is I make a few drinks a day, and a lot of days I don't even make drinks with milk. And they're producing hundreds of drinks with milk in a day. They get a lot more practice to make this. So remember, as you are brewing your cup of coffee and steaming with your pitcher, you're gonna want to have your milk here, and your cup is tilted, and you aim higher and kind of go in little circle motions. And then when you want the milk to hit in the top, you're gonna wanna get close to the milk as possible, which meaning the more you tilt your cup, the better and closer the tip of your spout will get to the espresso in the cup. So closer, and then you're gonna, as the cup fills, you're gonna turn your hand as you pour and kind of push through and lift up in the moment of that process, and hope to make a little bit of contrast in your latte art and in your drink. Again, this is just a quick overview of steaming milk. This isn't a massive tutorial on latte art. There are more people that are qualified than me to do that, but this is an idea of it. Also, Steaming changes based off of the machine that you have. Some machines are easier than others. Some machines go quicker. If I put my machine up to a commercial grade one, steaming milk is going to be way, way quicker. If I use a Breville Barista Express, it's going to take twice as long, maybe 3 times as long as this. If I'm using a Bellman stovetop steamer, it's going to be different. Rancilio Silvia, it's going to be different. There's a lot of differences between machines and steaming, but a lot of machines out there are capable of making good milk. In any drink, in any machine that is mentioned on Espresso Outlet will have a good enough steamer in order to produce latte art and good steamed milk. It just takes a little bit of practice down the road and a little bit of time and effort to do so. So I hope you enjoyed this series. And again, thank you so much for Espresso Outlet for reaching out to me and supporting me as a YouTuber and sponsoring this entire series. Thank you again for watching.